Welcome to the Envision training program. The purpose of this training program is to provide a real-world case study of an infrastructure project and have you apply the Envision rating system to it. The project that we're going to be looking at is the recreational park and holding facility for reclaimed wastewater. The city of Phoenix, Arizona hired your firm to construct a new recreational park. But the park has multiple purposes. It's not just a new green space for the local residents, but it's also a holding facility for reclaimed wastewater. So reclaimed wastewater is cleaned wastewater, but it doesn't meet the standards for drinking water. It can be used for things like irrigation, golf courses. It can also help replenish groundwater aquifers. And that's the purpose of this project. Phoenix, Arizona is in an arid climate without direct access to clean drinking water or many rivers. And so by using less or by reusing wastewater, they can use less water. In addition, this park can help replenish the depleting groundwater sources. And so it has multiple benefits from a sustainability aspect. You should act as the sustainability engineer and by doing that, reviewing the project scope of work and then recommend how sustainability credits from the Envision rating system can be achieved. For each credit that you select above a 0 score, then you need to provide a short explanation of how you're going to meet that credit. And I'll explain that again when I show you a detail of what the Envision rating system looks like. Here's a little bit more detail about the project that you'll find on the site. So some project details. The project will help transform an underutilized part of the city and provide a green space for residents. The park will also serve to hold and treat reclaimed wastewater. The reclaimed water will provide irrigation to facility and help replenish groundwater aquifers. And then below, you'll see a table here of list of items and aspects related to the project. So it's a 9-acre site. It's located in what's described as a park poor area. Multiple purpose fields and walking trails need to be provided. There also needs to be adjacent parking lots. There needs to be restroom and community facilities, landscaping to treat water and provide shading. There needs to be, it needs to hold up to 680,000 gallons of water per day, preserve and restore existing habitats and important natural resources, and then locally sourced materials. And again, these details will be provided to you once we get to the actual rating system, but this is an overview of the project and what's required. Once you've reviewed these documents, looked at the pictures, and you're ready to begin, put your name into the box that says name, and then click Get Started. Now, it's important to note, once you get started, don't X out of the system because your results or answers won't be recorded. So please at least have an hour to complete this. There's 15 credits. It shouldn't take more than an hour. And again, once you get started, then the only way to finish is hit the submit button. Otherwise, it won't save. You can't log back in a later time. It doesn't remember you. You have to submit it once you start. Okay, once you've put your name in and begun the Envision rating system, there's a couple things to note. First, you'll see when you log in at the top of the screen in the left-hand corner, your scores are provided. So total score, possible points out of the 15 credits. So again, this is a training system. It's meant to teach you about Envision. It's not the entire version. There's only 15 credits instead of all 60. And the purpose of that is to reduce the time that this would take. So scores are provided up above. The second thing to look at is that the project details that were on the first page are provided again for reference. And in bold are the instructions. So please act as the sustainability engineer and review the following credits. You should decide which credits are applicable and what level of achievement the team should strive to meet. Include an explanation, notes in the text box for each of the credits below. And again, there are 15 credits, don't spend more than an hour. The third thing that you'll note is that as you scroll down the page, the Envision credits will come up. So here's the first credit about reduce energy intensity of materials. And then it provides the intent, and then a text box and more explanation that I'll explain in a second. Okay, as you scroll down the page, you'll see more credits. Again, important to note that the total score and possible points remains at the top for you to reference, which with each of the credits, how you should begin is first reading the title. So RA 1.1, Resource Allocation 1.1, what is this credit about? And then the intent. The intent provides more specific information about what the credit's about and whether or not you believe this is important. If you do believe that this is important or relevant to the project, then the third thing to do would be to read the more detail and guidance link there. So you can click on that link where it says more detail guidance, and a new tab will pop up. And that new tab will provide specific details that you would need to meet or provide to the Envision verifier of how you're going to meet that credit. And there's different levels of achievement, and I'll explain that in a minute, but you can notice here where it says no added value or conserving or restorative, the different levels of achievement relate to different number of points. Okay, so if you click on the detail guidance section, you'll get a tab that looks like this. Again, at the top of the page, the title of the credit, the intent of the credit, and the metric is provided. It's important to read the intent of what the credit is intending to do or measure. And then below that is the levels of achievement. You'll notice here that there are 4 levels of achievement: improved, enhanced, superior, conserving. Underneath there, you'll see the number of points that are provided. So here, improved 5 points are provided, enhanced 10, superior 15, and conserving 20. And then they provide you more metrics of how to actually meet each one of those and what you would have to do. So 10% reduction would be 5 points, and the 70% reduction would be 20. Evaluation criteria follow with A, B, and C, and then the evaluation criteria and documentation that you'd have to provide is listed below. For the purpose of this training seminar, what you need to do is select which level of achievement you think is most appropriate or achievable by an actual engineering team, and then choose that level on the previous page and write a short description about how they would do that or guidance on how to meet that score. Okay, so we're back to the main Envision list of credits. You've looked at both the title, the intent, and the detailed guidance section. Here, now you need to make a decision. Is this credit worth pursuing or not? Do I include or exclude it? Once you've decided to include the credit, what level of achievement do you think is feasible for an actual engineering team to achieve. Improved, enhanced, superior, conserving. Again, if this was the first credit, improved 5% reduction, conserving 70% reduction. So here you would select the level, and then the number of points that you would achieve would change in the yellow box. Once you've selected the level of achievement, the next thing you need to do is add a description in the text box that's provided below that. So provide recommendation of how the team could actually achieve what you said is feasible for this project. And then finally, the last thing that you need to do for that credit is list whether or not you think that this recommendation will cost or save the owner money over the life cycle of the project. And this is obviously a rough estimate. We're not asking you to do any kind of calculations, but just on your perceptions, do you think that doing this recommendation will cost or save money in the life cycle of the project? This isn't necessarily part of Envision typically. This is part of some of the research that we're doing with Envision to see how people are using it and what the perceptions are.